Okay, so here is the current state of the tool. I've been playing with it for a little while, and you can see there's a lot of different settings here, and an end user may or may not really be all that interested in getting in and figuring out what all this stuff does. They might just want a quick and easy way of accessing some basic setup functionality. So we're going to talk about how to create a presets dropdown, which will be able to hopefully make the end user's life a little bit easier. So let's take a look at how to put that together. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of objects. The first will be a struct. So we're going to go to Blueprints and then Structure. And I'll just call this one Presets Struct for now. And then the next one we'll create in a moment. It's going to be a data table. But first we have to populate our presets struct. So a structure is effectively just a collection of different data types, different variables that we want to associate with one another. And there are all kinds of scenarios where this is really, really useful. And we're just going to talk about this one example, and there may be room in the tutorial for one more example down the road that will help flesh this out a little bit. But if you're familiar with Python scripting, a struct is essentially just a dictionary. So in this case, we're just defining the keys of the dictionary. So, and if that doesn't mean anything to you, then don't worry about it. The first thing I'm going to do is we've got a single variable here, which exists by default. And what I want to do is create a variable for UV bounds, one for voxel grid size, and one for reduction percentage. And these are all going to be of type float, but you can use any kind of data type that you want, depending on what kind of data you need to store. So we'll make the first one here. And you can see if I click over here, I have access to all of the existing objects in Unreal. And you could even have a struct here. So you can create a struct and then have that be a data type in another struct. So, but in this case, we're going to keep it simple and just make this a float. I'm going to add two more. And this one we will call voxel grid size. And this one we will call reduction. And these are all floats. I'm going to add one more for something that I'll probably have to show in the next video, which is going to be a static mesh. You can see here, and I'll make that an object reference. So again, these do not have to be the same data type. A struct can have a lot of different kinds of data types. These just happen to all be floats. Cool. Okay, so now we've got our structure defined. I'm going to come back over to miscellaneous, and we're going to create a data table. And the first thing that the data table wants to know here is, what is my row structure? And what it means by that is, what is my struct? So I'll just type in presets, and we've got our preset struct. We'll hit OK. Call this one presets data. And we'll open it up. So we've got data table and then data table details. We don't really need to worry about the details for right now. I'm going to hit the add button here, and it's going to create a row. Now you can see that the current values are all zeros. What I'd like to do is actually go back to my preset struct and set some default values. So you can see this is where we're defining our variables and the data types, and then this next tab over, that's going to be the default values. And I'm just going to use whatever I happen to have right here. So the first one will be 500. And then 8 and 0.5. And for now, we can just leave the static mesh at none. So now these have those default values piped in. And I want to rename this by right-clicking and selecting rename, and we'll call this one default. I'm going to go ahead and add one more. We'll rename this one large objects. Make a little more space here. And I'll change this value here to, 2000. And then voxel grid size, we can say 10. The values here do not matter. I just want to show you like how these things look, especially when we're updating our presets. So I'm going to pause the video and add two more. It's the exact same process. Just hit add, rename it, and then set the values. So we got large objects, medium objects, and small objects, and they have different values, so that as we sort through our presets here, we should see some updates. So let's go ahead and save that. And just to make it extra clear here, the struct here, what it's doing, we've got UV bounds, voxel grid size, and reduction. That is our column data, right? So the information that we're storing in the columns comes directly from the struct. All right, hopefully that's clear. So this tool here doesn't actually have any functionality. I just wanted to sort of keep it very, very simple and focus just on working with this data table and the struct. All right, let's take a very quick look at the combo box. Not sure if I've talked about that yet. So it's in one of these things. They're all collapsed for the moment. You can just type in combo up here and you'll get two options. One of them is going to be combo box key and the other one is combo box string. This one is going to be a combo box string. And then I've just renamed it combo box preset, something like that. Okay, so we'll hop over to graph. And what I want to do is I want to create a custom event. I'm going to call this one setup combo. I'm going to do setup combo box there. Just keep it very, very clear. And I need to let the blueprint know about the data table that we've created. So what I want to grab is a get data table row names. We'll plug this into there. And then I need to tell it what kind of data table I'm talking about. So in this case, it'll be our presets data object. So I can select it here in the content browser and then just click this little arrow and that will pipe in there. And that's going to give me an array of the names of the data table. So I can pull off here and do a for each. So for each row, what we're going to do is we're going to add the row name to our combo box. I'm going to go ahead and grab our combo box presets object so that we have context here. And what we want to do is we're going to use the add option function. So this will go into the loop body. And then the array element is going to be the row name. And we're just going to pipe this in as the option. So I'll kind of move things around just a little bit, keep it nice and clear. So I will compile and save, and then I'm going to go ahead and call the setup combo box function on construct. So when I hit compile, this is going to get run. So if I run this guy again, we go to presets and we grab the dropdown, now we can see all those things that we added as row names, right? All of these things are now present in our combo box dropdown. Okay, so that's cool. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So once we've done that, once we've iterated over this list and added all the options, we want to go ahead and set the default. So we'll go to set selected option. Whoops, and that's going to need the context of combo box. There we go. So you can also do set selected index if you're always going to have the default be number 1, but so long as you set this up. And so we want to do this after we've completed adding all of our options. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Compile, go ahead and run it, and you can see there by default is our default values. So now what we want is to set up some functionality so that when I select these various presets, these values will update as well. And we will take a look at that in the next video.